Hey guys, welcome back to the Tech Control Media Podcast. This is episode 2. So for those of you that caught episode 1, as you recall, we were going over all of the first and second party studios for Sony. And on this video, part 2, we plan to do the same, but for Xbox. Once again, I'm Jay Bourbon. You guys know me from most of the videos that we have online. Also on the panel, we have Lou.
What's up, guys? Happy to be back for part 2.
Also back for part 2, we have George.
Glad to be here.
Perfect. Okay, so this week we are talking Xbox and their first and second party studios. So I think the best thing to do is let's begin with the big one, 343 Industries. So we already know they've come out with Halo, Halo Wars 2, Halo Spartan Assault, and have confirmed as a launch title, Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite.
That's right. So I'll tell you this. Not too many people are happy with the Halo franchise after 343 took over them. And I personally think that the following that Bungie had kind of carried over with them into Destiny, and we've seen how successful Destiny is, and I think in great part it has to do with the kickoff that the Bungie name has with it. So what's 343 doing that's different?
You know, obviously Halo's like a staple shooter, right? Like it kind of popularized almost the whole like first person shooter genre and like that online multiplayer stuff. And you see a lot of the like gunplay mechanics, you know, the polish there is like definitely there with Destiny. But you know, 343 now is in charge of Halo, and I can't speak too much to like the Halo games that they've put out, you know, because I haven't played too much. But you know, I know you've sunk a lot of hours into Halo 5, so you can definitely, you know, speak to the multiplayer and whatnot.
For sure. Halo 5, I'll tell you this. The multiplayer is I can't say enough good things about it. It's amazing, especially they are constantly rotating different modes in and out. And then they introduced Firefight and Warzone this year. It's a bit of a different take on what they've done with the previous Halo games. And it's just amazing, you know, but where it lacks is the story. The story in particular for Halo 5. So for Halo 4, let's talk about Halo 4. It was a pretty good game overall, including multiplayer, including the story. People were happy. They still think that it was a slight downgrade from what Bungie would have done, but nonetheless, 343 did a good job. Now, with Halo 5, where the bad part came in, is that they decided to take a different direction and introduce 2 new Spartans. So you have Master Chief's team, and then you also have the blue team, which was Spartan Locke and some other guy. I forgot his name. But Spartan Locke, you guys will know him from many movies and many shows, including what's the Marvel show where he's
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No. On Netflix.
There's a few.
Luke Cage.
Oh, okay.
Luke Cage, yeah. So you'll know him from Luke Cage, and it's very weird seeing Spartan Locke as Luke Cage and vice versa when I was playing those games. But you see Luke Cage dressed as a Spartan, and his team is hunting down Master Chief. So, you know, in a way, it's fine. Had that been a spin-off game, it would have been great. But they basically took a mainline game like Halo 5, and 7 out of the 10 missions were Spartan Locke and his team. And you only really got to play with Master Chief for 3 missions, only a handful. And that's what people missed, you know. So besides it being a semi-short campaign, it was about 10 hours. You also didn't really play much with Master Chief. And everybody grew up with Master Chief from Halo 1 to Reach and all the others in between.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like they were trying to pass the buck to this blue team, and they just
for Reach, I think it was they covered like a different team for Reach. I think. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, for Reach, they weren't even Spartans. They were just soldiers. You know, like
I think that was ODST, Halo ODST. They were just soldiers.
Yeah, you might be right. But yeah, no, they did cover a completely different team, and they let us know they didn't call it Halo 4, and then try and make it like it was a different. It was a different game. So had they done that with this game, Halo 5, and had all 10 missions Master Chief, it would have been great. He's chasing after Cortana and whatnot. Spoilers for those who haven't played it. And then you could take those 7 missions and put it in a separate game. Halo 5 ODST if you want, whatever the case is. And that would have done just fine. But the multiplayer aspect of it, I can't say enough good things. Even to this day, I still play that with a bunch of people online.
So do you think what they need to show up in for Halo Infinite is just like having a better story, to accompany the online aspect of it, or do you feel like they need to make any changes to the gameplay?
So I love the gameplay. Some people don't like the fast action with the boost and the running. But you have that in Call of Duty, Titanfall. So I think, it's just part of the new generation. I don't mind it at all. Now, as far as the story, yeah, they should change the story. Give me Master Chief for all 10 missions. Maybe have him hunt down the blue team for redemption. That would be that'd be pretty cool. And that's it. The story in Halo 5, honestly, was not bad at all. It just you kind of went into it a little disappointed. And then the biggest letdown of all, before we even get to the story, is the teaser trailer that we saw way back, I don't know, 2014 or something. Whenever they showed off the teaser trailer, it made it seem as if you could pick either side, either the blue team or Master Chief's team, and you were hunting the other. And based on what team you selected, that was the story. That was the major outcome. And we didn't get that at all. That was not the case at all. So we kind of got duped. A lot of people were disappointed by that.
Okay.
And what's funny, even with all these things that I'm saying, the game still got pretty favorable reviews by both IGN, Metacritic, and all that. So it wasn't a bad game by any means. It just wasn't the Halo that everyone knows and loves.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like the Halo games, as far as like from what I can remember, like I played Halo 3 quite a bit, and people really buy the Halo games for the multiplayer.
Right.
And like I said earlier, I know you've sunk a lot of hours into the multiplayer, so it's the multiplayer aspect of it is obviously still there. And it's definitely a huge game for Xbox. I think it's for sure a console seller, so I think the next one will do good.
You're right. It is a big console seller, and if it's not delayed, and it comes out with the Xbox Series X, then I think that could really move some units.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I think so too.
So and then of course you have Halo Wars, you have Halo Spartan Assault. So it's very possible and probably most likely that we're going to get next gen versions. But I'm excited for Halo Infinite. That's the one that I'm excited for. Oh, and speaking of Halo Infinite, I really don't want to spend too much time on 343, but there are rumors that the multiplayer is going to be free to play. So that could be a huge game changer.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that going the route of having a free to play online component would mean that they're gonna try to take a different route as far as just like monetizing the game. I would assume maybe like selling cosmetics and like stuff like that. So I don't know, that'd be interesting to see, because it'd be the first time Halo does something like that.
Yeah, they've come out and said before, first off, that they're not interested in any type of battle royale. That's the first thing they've said. And then,
yeah, I think it was I think one of the devs or something said a comment about the only BR in Halo is the the assault rifle, the burst rifle,
the battle rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a direct quote. And now, but I could tell you this, at least from how it works in Halo 5, it seems like it's going to work the same way, where you don't necessarily purchase specific items. You kind of purchase the loot box. That's the best way I can name it. You purchase the loot box, and then it gives you random stuff. And then there's also other ways you can earn different cosmetic items. If you have like a band that you play with, I don't think it's called a band. I forgot what it's called, but you play as a team, and as a team you earn rewards, and then yourself individually too. If you complete, I don't know, let's say 1,000 or 10,000 melee kills, then you get a certain cosmetic item. It's different ways, and I really hope that for those that actually have the game, that they get some more incentives, as opposed to those that just downloaded it for free.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like maybe not exactly this kind of formula, but like we see things in games now, especially that come out with battle passes and stuff like that, and it's
Right.
like people that have the battle pass have access to certain cosmetic items and stuff that people that don't buy those battle passes have. So it could be like a similar situation.
It could be. I really hope they don't do battle passes. I'm sure it's more way. It's like a new way for companies to make money, but at least for Halo, like that's a classic, and it's, you shouldn't really mess with a classic too much.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's move on. I think we spent enough time on 343. We're going to try and move through this list as quickly as possible. It seems to be a significant list, so we're trying not to spend too much time on each studio. So the next one here on the list is Compulsion Games. So Compulsion Games, these are the people that most recently released We Happy Few, and are rumored to come out with a new IP now that they are owned by Xbox.
Yeah, and this developer / studio was recently acquired, right, by Microsoft.
They were a couple years ago, but when they were acquired, they were still working on We Happy Few. I actually think it had recently released by the time they announced to us that they had acquired them. So we would expect that they were still supporting We Happy Few. It didn't get the greatest reviews or anything like that. It by no means was like a banger, if you want to call it that. But so that's probably why they're working on a new IP for Microsoft now.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Looks like.
Go ahead, Lou.
No, I was gonna say it looks like they also worked, because I'm just on their website right now. It looks like they also worked on Contrast.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Yeah, before that.
Yeah, so they don't really have that many games under their belt, so it's pretty hard to predict exactly what they're going to come up with.
Well, as long as it's better than We Happy Few, then I'm not complaining.
I mean, I would imagine, becoming a first party studio, and receiving that kind of, I guess, support from Microsoft could push them towards improving the quality of their games and stuff, and maybe we'll see something better from them come out in the future on the Series X.
I hope so. I mean, let's talk about what being bought by Microsoft actually means, right? So for one, I would say a bigger budget, possibly unlimited budget. I mean, depending on the studio. And then now that you have a bigger budget, you can think bigger and hire bigger names. So you never know. So let's skip ahead. Next is Rare. So Rare, they recently released the Rare Replay. They are also responsible for Sea of Thieves, and announced to come out is Everwild and Battletoads. So let me start with Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves was a game that we had Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and that was the pirate game. And then when we saw Sea of Thieves, we figured, oh, this is going to be a slightly better version or some type of continuation, maybe slightly more cartoonish in a way. And then next thing you know, it was first person, and the game comes out, and you kind of don't have many things to do. It's a little bit boring and whatnot. But then it's a games as a service type of game, you know? There isn't really a Sea of Thieves 2. It just continuously gets updates. So more recently, right, it's been a few years since it's been released with all those problems. More recently, they've added quite a few things to do, treasure hunts and fighting and battling and all this other stuff. So it's pretty interesting, engaging now. And even IGN went back and re-reviewed the game. It jumped up from, I think they gave it a 4 the first time. It jumped up to, I think it was an 8.
Pretty good.
Right. Hey, you doubled in score, so you must be doing something.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just tells you. Go ahead.
No, I think you've also talked about this before, just like off the podcast, where it's like the games, these kinds of games that come out now, where it's like games as a service. You know, the initial review isn't always indicative of like how these games will, like what these games will be like a year, 2 years down the line, since they're constantly being updated.
Right.
And you know, it's
perfect example would be No Man's Sky.
Yeah, for sure. When it first came out, it was just like everyone was mad at it.
Yeah.
Oh, even Destiny.
Destiny was like that too.
Yeah, when it first came out.
I think it was the content that people felt was lacking when it first came out.
Okay, that's fair. They could have just been saving it for DLC.
I mean, I think it was just the amount of content that people were expecting to have with a full price game wasn't what they received when they first bought it.
Right. And you know, you could easily say the same for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
You know. So recently, again, it's been updated. It's doing a lot better. Probably still not what we initially thought, but now that we have had a couple of years of this game, we have a better idea of what it is, and it should continue to improve.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Everwilds. This is also by Rare. Let me give my 2 cents, and then I'll let you guys jump in. To me, when I see this trailer, we don't have much to go by other than just the trailer, and that's the case for a lot of these games. But just based on the trailer, I get a Horizon Zero Dawn vibe, except instead of robots, they're actual animals. Am I alone here?
I was thinking more along the lines of like, I mean, I think it's because of the art style. I'll kind of get Breath of the Wild vibes from it.
It could be. I could see that.
But it's hard to tell like how big the scope of the game is, and just like what the gameplay is going to look like, because it was just like a trailer, so you don't really know what it's going to be yet. So I don't know. I guess we'll see when more of the game is revealed. But the art style was definitely giving me Breath of the Wild vibes.
The art style for sure. I'll give you that. I don't know. It's just weird because it looked, again, maybe it's just me. It did, to me, it felt like you're in the jungle type of thing, and these are the animals. Either that or Pokemon, you know. These just weren't regular animals. These are different creatures that they created specifically for the game.
Oh, okay.
Let's move on to Battletoads, also by Rare. George, did you play the original Battletoads?
The original one I think came out for the NES, and it's probably one of the hardest games to ever come out in general.
Really?
Yeah, it was just borderline impossible to beat.
Wow. Okay. I mean, hopefully this one isn't that difficult.
Oh, probably, most definitely. I mean, but then again, back in the day for the NES, pretty much all the games are just borderline broken. So I'm sure this one will.
Well, back then they couldn't get updates after the game got released.
Tell me about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking this game will do pretty well, especially if it's like in the art, and the gameplay wise of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If it's like a fighter or beat 'em up game, I think it should do pretty well.
Yeah, even in the trailer, I think I saw them racing too, which was something new. And kind of cool.
Yeah, coincidentally, that was actually the hardest level in their NES one.
Yeah, it gives me those like brawler vibes, and like Streets of Rage 4, right, came out recently, which is a kind of that similar genre.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's like something along those lines that we can expect. Is it going to be a reboot of the game, or like what are they, like a remake of the first game, or?
We don't know. This is another one of those that's just been announced with a small trailer, and that's it. But either way, it wouldn't. I seriously doubt it's going to be a continuation of whatever they left off back in the NES. So, is it a reboot? Is it a new story?
I don't think anyone will remember.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so moving on to World's Edge. These are the people that are responsible for Age of Empires. Now, Lou, wasn't Age of Empires a mobile game?
I don't know if it was a mobile game. I know that it's on PC, and it's an RTS game. And I mean, I think they just focus on Age of Empires, right? What was the last Age of Empires to come out? I see on the list here is Age of Empires 4. So they've obviously come out with a few of these already.
Right.
And it's
just to clarify, Empires 4 is the one that's been announced. That's coming. Okay. Right. So they you're right. They've done 1, 2, and 3 on PC right now. You could download the definitive edition, which came out in 2015.
Okay. Yeah. So Age of Empires 4. I'm guessing is just I don't know if they I haven't played them personally, so I don't know like if they carry a story with them or like what the lore is for that IP. So I don't know if it's like a continuation of the previous games or if it's like a different location that takes place in a different location or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I have no idea either. Age of Empires. I could have sworn it was a mobile game or either way, I think it's one of those games where you kind of you use materials to build your own fort and then your own community and stuff, and then other communities can come and attack and vice versa, and that's what keeps it going. So you basically start as a caveman and work your way up to the future, even past what we are today.
Yeah, from what I can gather, each game has like a different period of time that it's set in.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the second one was set in like the Mayan time, and then the third one was set like in the between 1421 and 1850. So.
Okay.
That's a wide gap there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting though that they take, they go with that, like they take different periods of time and build a game around that.
Well, listen, I don't know if I'd necessarily play or if I would necessarily pay $60 for this, especially because I'm pretty sure it's a mobile game. But if it's on Game Pass, which most likely it will be, I'll definitely give this a shot. This one is near and dear to both you and I, Lou, the Coalition.
Oh, right? the Gears games.
The Gears games, right. So I say it's near and dear because we just finished playing Gears 4. And it was, at first, I'm not even going to lie. At first, I went in and I'm like, what the hell is this game? The mechanics are off. Everything is weird. But then, the Coalition and their writing it's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, I went from like angry at the game to cracking a smile and then cracking up. and I'm like, okay, this gameplay is pretty good, and then you also got to get to know the weapons. The reloading was something different I've never seen on any other game.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you that it won me over.
I mean, you hadn't played the first 3 Gears either, right?
I had not.
So
And the funny thing is, it was the first time. The funny thing is, I bought the definitive edition or whatever it was called. It was like the first 3 games all together in one.
Oh.
Yeah, I bought that, and I just never popped it in. So here comes Christmas time, and I'm sorry, Cuzzo, if you're listening. Here comes Christmas time, and I kind of just re-gifted it to my cousin. It was Christmas. He likes Gears, and I just gave it to him like, hey, I bought this specifically for you. Meanwhile, it was sitting in my shelf. It was sitting in my shelf for like a year or two. And this was before Gears 4 came out. It was about to come out. And he's like, oh, is this the new one? And I'm like, it's the latest one. So, yeah.
No, but I mean, I did play the first 2 at least. I think I might have played a little bit of the third one too. At least the beta that came out before the game actually released. Right. But I enjoyed the Gears games, and like I feel like the charm of the games are like the characters and the story and like the banter between them and stuff like that. So I mean, it's something that kind of, I guess, got you into it a little more as you played it as well. And at first I was a little hesitant to try 4, and like when 5 came out, like it was like I just felt like they were kind of milking the series. But they did introduce new characters and stuff, so it's kind of like a spin-off or like reinventing the Gears series with new characters, but like keeping the name. So I mean, I did enjoy 4, and I feel like I'm probably gonna enjoy 5 too. So
right, 5 is the next one we have up that we're gonna play. And good news. So we haven't played in a couple of weeks because my controller broke. It's a whole big issue. I'm actually working on a video for that, so I'll upload that within the next week or so. But the good news is that my replacement controller just arrived literally while we're recording. So
nice.
We should be able to hop back in and finish up Gears 5.
Okay.
So while we are on the subject, let's stick with Gears. Gears 1 through 3 is one main character. Gears 4 is his son, right? And then Gears 5, we see kind of like his girlfriend, who's the main character in 4. So there's the main character in 4, which is the son. There's the girl who's his girlfriend, and then there's his friend, which I'm just gonna say he's his best friend, right? So Gears 4 is about the son, Gears 5 is about the girlfriend. There are rumors out there that saying that Gears 6 is about the best friend now. So you can kind of see how each game is using a different character, different main character, and it could just be a way to flesh out the story. And not just the story, but the characters.
Yeah.
With their own game, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel like if they can keep the story, feeling, fresh and just like engaging and stuff, they have nothing to worry about with coming out with these new games.
Right.
Yeah, so after 5, I'd probably be looking forward to playing 6 too when it comes out.
For sure. It's probably going to come out on next gen too, so that's going to look amazing. And Gears 4 and 5 are already some of the most amazing looking games there are on the Xbox. So I can't wait for Gears 6.
Yeah, they've always been pretty games. So like, I think I recall them because they use the Unreal Engine, and I think I recall them being used in like tech demos and stuff for like Epic Games using the Gears like footage or content or whatever or models in tech demos and stuff.
Yes. Now don't quote me on this, but I actually think that Epic used to make the first couple of Gears, and then it got moved over to the Coalition.
It's possible. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played the first one, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but we know for sure that they're using the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
So Unreal Engine 5 most likely going to be Gear 6, and that, forget about it. It's going to look amazing. They also have Gears Tactics. So right now it's only available on PC. A little bit odd that it came out on PC first before console. Usually it's, I mean, not always, but with these type of games, sometimes they're usually the other way around. Lou, you're the only one that's been able to play it because you are a PC gamer. So what do you think of Gears Tactics?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they did. So it's kind of a play on the XCOM formula,
Right.
similar to like if you've seen the gameplay for on the Switch for Mario, the crossover between Mario and the Raving Rabbids or whatever they are.
Oh yeah. With the
So
Ubisoft Rabbits, I think it is.
Yeah. So it's like it's that kind of same formula, but they've taken that XCOM formula, kind of made it their own a little bit, and like I think I've enjoyed the some of the few changes they've made. There are some things that they don't include that are in the XCOM games.
Right.
So it's kind of like a balance between things they have and things they don't have. But so far it's been cool, like playing it. And what I will say is I think they do a better job of keeping the story cohesive between like the different missions and stuff. So
Right.
I mean, like I mentioned earlier, like the Gears charm has always been kind of like their story and the characters and stuff. So
Right.
not surprised that that's the case.
Yeah. Again, great writing by the Coalition and their team. Genuinely funny.
And it's good to see that they've branched out in this direction and they've still managed to produce a good game. Like they also have, I think, another Gears spin-off kind of game coming out.
Yes.
Different art style.
It's more like the Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's called Gears Pop.
Yeah, that's right. So that, I mean, forget about it. I can only imagine the comedy on that one.
But it's kind of it kind of seems like they're trying to address different like player bases and like different game styles and stuff. And so far it looks like it's going well for them. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely good. And if Gears 5 reviews are any indication of the trend that they're going, then the future looks good for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have Double Fine Studios. These guys are responsible for Psychonauts 2. So George, I'm going to kick it over to you. You played Psychonauts 1 back in the day.
I vaguely recall that game. It got really good reviews though, from what I can remember. And yeah, sequel should be pretty interesting considering how weird the first one was.
Yeah, I've seen some gameplay of it, and it looks like kind of like a platformer in the same way that like Mario is a platformer, right? But the art style to me kind of looks like, I don't know if you guys remember James and the Giant Peach, the movie.
Yes.
That's the kind of art style vibe I get from it, which is like a little weird, but I guess for its characters it kind of works.
Okay. I have no idea what movie you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it. All right. So let's move on to we kind of touched up on this one a little bit, so let's talk about it now. The Initiative. So let me just give a quick intro to The Initiative. The Initiative is a brand new studio that Xbox created from scratch. So most companies, you ever heard AA, indie, AAA, and stuff like that, that typically is based on their budget. And this particular studio that was created, The Initiative, they have a budget of a quadruple A studio.
Wow.
Yeah, supposedly. I mean, what does that mean? Could they have multiple teams working on multiple different games? Or all their resources are pulled and they're working on one game. I don't know. I honestly hope that they're working on multiple games, because the talent that they have kind of secured from other studios, I think they're best suited if they're each kind of spearheading their own type of game.
Yeah, I think this would be like a really interesting studio if it turns into something like, we recently had the Sony PS5 event, and you saw like different games from Insomniac, right? So Insomniac seems to be a pretty big team. They have different IPs and stuff that they release games for, and I think, like you said, with the different kinds of talent that they've brought onto the studio, like I feel like they could be, something like that, where they have different IPs that they work on, and they're all like, really good quality games.
So, Lou, do you happen to have the details of kind of the personnel working on at the initiative now?
I was trying to look this up. So, like, they do have a video where they kind of introduce some of the team members. They have people from. I see an article here talking about they have people that have come from Sledgehammer, Activision, Crystal Dynamics. I know I saw in the video they had someone that had worked on God of War, like the PS4 version of God of War.
Yes.
So that's pretty exciting for the team. I can't
They
remember.
actually, I'm pretty sure. So again, don't quote me on who these people are and what they did, but I know that somebody very key to God of War is one of the people they brought over. Another person that was key for God of War was the fighting style director. So this is the guy that was responsible for the fighting style in God of War, and they brought him over. So he's no longer with them. So you should really expect. I'm not saying they're going to copy the exact same style of God of War, but it should be a significant upgrade as far as combat. Then the initiative also kind of poached the person that was, I don't know if they were in charge, but they were very important. It had to do with the most recent Tomb Raider game.
It wasn't Rise.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Right. So
one of their team members also worked on Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was apparently also a good game. So
right. So I personally am expecting a lot from the initiative. That's just me personally. If these guys with all their talent come out and drop one game and it's a dud, then Microsoft really has no excuse.
No, I mean, I think they've pulled enough talent into this studio that the game that comes out from this studio is going to be like a pretty significant title, I feel like.
It should be. I agree, especially with that budget. But at the same time, that's why I kind of am hoping that they're working on multiple games.
Yeah.
They got quite a few people from God of War, GTA, Red Dead Redemption,
Metal Gear,
those
Naughty
are all
Dog.
pretty good games.
Someone here from Apex, GTA 5. No, all right. So again, I'm expecting big things from them. Okay. So let's move on to inXile. So this studio has actually okay, let's talk about what they've launched. They've launched Wasteland 2 back in 2014. And recently coming out the next, if not next month, the next couple months, I'm going to look it up real quick. But Wasteland 3 is coming out soon this year.
The vibe I get from it is like, what's these games? The Fallout, like Fallout.
Yeah.
But with but a different perspective, like on gameplay. It's not like a first person kind of game. It's more of like a almost top down kind of game where you're like looking at your party from above, and it's like
kind of like Diablo.
Huh? Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So something like that. But yeah, I can't say too much on this because I haven't seen a lot of gameplay for it, and I'm not too familiar with it.
Okay. So while we're on the subject of Wasteland 3, it's coming out in August, late August, August 28th. That's when it comes out, Wasteland 3. So Microsoft purchased inXile after they had signed all the paperwork for Wasteland 3. So Wasteland 3 is coming out on all platforms. That's why if some people ask why is it not only an Xbox exclusive, this is why. Most likely Wasteland 4, even if it's not a Xbox exclusive, that's fine. All the other previous ones weren't. Get that money. But inXile has come out and confirmed that they are working on a new IP, and it will be using the new Unreal Engine 5.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting. But again, they confirmed that it's ways out. Because keep in mind, Wasteland 3 is coming out in August. We're not there yet. They need to release the game, support, maybe DLC. So we're talking about at least, I would say, 5 years out before we get their new IP.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
All right. So another one that Microsoft bought, they paid a lot of money for this, but it's well worth it, is Mojang Studios. So Mojang, for those of you that are not aware, they are the makers and creators of Minecraft. Minecraft is a games as a service type of game. Just gets updates and continuously improves and things like that. So
very, very popular game too.
Very popular. Minecraft actually has sold over 200 million copies.
Wow. I mean, it's on everything too. Like it's on.
It is
PC.
It's on phones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then they've kind of almost done something similar to what we were talking about with Gears earlier, where they've branched out to like these different genres of games. So like they Minecraft, has been like kind of like a telltale narrative experience. They recently came out with Dungeons, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which is different to the Minecraft experience itself, but it's still that same IP. So it's like they're kind of taking this IP and kind of really branching out, and it looks like it's doing well for them. So
right. Well, with just the regular Minecraft selling over 200 million copies, forget about it. That in alone. And then Minecraft actually, Minecraft Dungeons was actually the number one selling game the last couple of weeks since it's released. So that's pretty interesting. Right. And the reviews aren't even all that great. So for it to have average review scores and still sell out, that says a lot about the Minecraft name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I expect a lot more from Mojang. They already have Minecraft. They were going to release a 4K patch to the game that kind of got canceled, but I have a feeling that it got canceled because instead of the 4K patch, they started working on a ray tracing patch. And we've already seen some of those ray tracing previews in the last Xbox conference that they had in May. So looks interesting, looks really good in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think they actually have ray tracing mods on the PC version of Minecraft that you can add on to it. Like they have a ton of mods for Minecraft on PC. But
that is correct.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's probably why it's so popular on PC, because you can mod, this game. You can do anything with this game.
Oh yeah, I've seen some crazy videos.
Right. Okay, so good on them for that. Let's move on to Ninja Theory. So Ninja Theory, these are the people that back on the PS3 they made Heavenly Sword.
Yeah.
They're also the people that are responsible for Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, came out in 2017. Great game. I personally finished that game not too long ago, and the entire time my heart rate was just at its limit, In one mission in particular, I swear, if I had not looked up how to beat that mission beforehand, I would have died. And this is the type of game where if you die too many times, you get permadeath, and then you have to start over, all the way over.
All the way over from the beginning of the game, or
from the beginning of the game. That's
what?
right. Yep.
Wow.
And here's also here's very brutal. Here's another kicker. There's no map, no mini map, no direction, no nothing. You kind of are just wandering around in the woods. Now, I'm not gonna say that it like you get lost a lot. I mean, you definitely could, but to an extent, it's very linear. You know, you kind of like once you're done with one area, as long as you don't go back where you came from, you can kind of continue and progress to the next area, which is kind of nice. It is nice in a way, but again, you could possibly get very lost. They introduced some new mechanics that I hadn't seen before in games with, you know, she had sort of like a demented mind, so she would see certain things depending on where you stand and what portals you go through. It was just a different take on horror, and it was very scary. Oh, geez.
Yeah, I definitely see that. So like they've already announced Hellblade 2, right? So
yep,
it's something we know is coming. I feel like it's probably gonna do really well. The first one did pretty well. Is that on your list of games to play when
Hellblade 2, you know, now that I did play Hellblade 1, I think I will play Hellblade 2. It also looks amazing. You know, the two things that everyone came out of that Game Award show last year was A, Xbox revealed their console, and B, Hellblade 2 looks amazing. And then sort of way down at the bottom, number 3 is Sekiro won Game of the Year, whatever. So Hellblade 2 is actually confirmed by Ninja Theory to be running on Unreal Engine 5.
Nice.
Ooh,
yeah, so that could be why the game looks so good.
Yeah, after that demo that Epic released for the tech demo, I'm pretty excited to see any games running on Unreal Engine 5.
Right, same here. It's a great engine, and those guys, you know, they're making it very developer friendly too. For I made a video before on speaking just a little bit about it, but one thing I didn't mention, just because I forgot, is that anybody using their engine, they can use it for free until they make a profit of $1 million, and then at that point, Unreal will ask for their cut. But that is amazing. You know, you don't have to dish out a huge lump sum in the beginning just to use an engine. And then what if your game doesn't even do all that well? So
that's true.
Very good on them. Very developer friendly, consumer friendly, I'd say.
Yeah.
So moving on, I mean, you touched up on Hellblade 2. That's coming out next gen. Looks amazing. They recently released Bleeding Edge.
Yeah. I mean, it's we were, you know, talking about this a little bit earlier. Like Bleeding Edge, I feel like is a game that came out with a lot of potential, and I mean, it's a game as a service, right? So they're gonna keep iterating on it.
Right.
But I feel like it has the structure of a game that could have longevity, but they need to maintain it and improve on it. And it's something that I like. It's a game that I wanted to really like, and I mean, I did enjoy playing it for a while. It's just the whole like longevity aspect of it that I was concerned about. But you know, I hope this game continues to do well, and they continue to add characters that people like to play, and add new content for people to unlock and stuff.
Yeah, so hopefully they continue to improve. I mean, some of the issues I had with it was the movement. I just felt like the characters' feet were moving a lot faster than what they were actually moving. And then they were riding on a rollerblade or whatever different type of moving vehicle they were on. It was just took too long to come out, in my opinion. I mean, that could possibly be part of the gameplay, like they want it that way. And then second,
I think it's part of the balancing because they don't want people to have it come out so quick that they get too quick from one objective to the next, or like they get too quick from one objective to like a team fight or whatever.
No, and I can understand that, but it's like when you were already on it, it wasn't that much faster than just regular running.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So if I'm on a hoverboard, I expect that thing to fly. And, if you increase everyone's speed, I'm not saying just one person, but if you increase everyone's speed, you can try and run away, but they can just easily catch you. Right? As long as they hop on their hoverboard and stuff like that. But it, by no means, it wasn't a bad game at all. It just, there were a lot of improvements, minor improvements I think they could have worked on. The biggest one for me was the respawn. Every time you die, which was very easy to do, by the way, every time you die, you respawn in this island, and it takes forever for your character to be able to move after you respawn, and then you kind of had to navigate your way to the launch pad. Launch pad would bring you onto the stage, and like a small little corner, you had to make your way. So I just felt like I spent more time dead and respawning and navigating than actually playing.
you just gotta get good so you don't die. No, I mean, like this is like one of those kinds of games where it's like you, especially early on, you spend a lot of time learning the mechanics of the game, the characters. Forgot if they were called like heroes or hunters or like what they were called, but whatever whatever they were called. Like you just got to get familiar with them, and like it's kind of similar to a MOBA or like something like a hero shooter where everyone has different abilities and you have to learn what each character does, both so that you can play as them and you can play against them, so you know what they can do to you, and like you know how to synergize with the rest of your team to have the most effective strategy for beating the other team. So it takes time. It takes time to ramp up and kind of like get good and not die all the time in those kinds of games.
I agree. It's definitely one of those you have to spend time with each character, but I just didn't have that time, especially if I'm respawning all the time. So, all right, let's move on because the list is pretty long. In addition, Ninja Theory has confirmed Project Mara. Based on the trailer, to me, it looks like they kind of took the Senua chick and just, time warped her into today. That's what it looks like, because it almost has the same face, and she's just as tortured. And it's only a teaser, so we see her real quick, and that's it.
I'm also hoping they make another like hack and slash game, because they also made a DMC, the reboot, and they got really good reviews. Yeah.
Oh, was it the controversial one that some people didn't like?
Yeah, I mean, gameplay wise, it was actually pretty good. It's just story wise that the fans kind of took offense to.
Oh.
So that's why I got controversial reviews. If you
people offended over gaming, no.
I mean, they made an interesting choice. They changed the lead character Dante, from having the white hair to like black.
Really?
Yeah, so that kind of rubbed people the wrong way.
I could see that. But okay. I almost kind of want to see a sequel to Heavenly Sword, if not then like a reboot or a soft reboot to Heavenly Sword, maybe one that's exclusive to Xbox and also give competition to God of War.
Definitely.
That'd be interesting.
Gameplay wise, I'm pretty sure it would be pretty good. And this time they... No, go ahead. No, I was going to say this time, they can't really do anything controversial because it would be like a brand new game as opposed to taking a established franchise and kind of putting a spin to it that people might not like.
Right. So I was just going to quickly mention, to me, again, I haven't played God of War yet. It is on my list. As soon as George is able to lend me his account, I'll play it.
I'm pretty sure it's on Lou's list too.
Yeah.
So we all need to play it. George has already beaten it. But the little bit of gameplay that I did see of it, I gotta say that Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, it's very close to what their gameplay is. Kind of like a not dodge. It's kind of like a parry the hit, and now that's your window to kind of get them back and stuff like that. I don't know. I saw kind of like a blurry line between the two. So if they come out with Heavenly Sword and have similar gameplay, even if it's similar to Senua's Sacrifice, why are all my words escaping me right now?
Yeah, it should be pretty good, considering they have experience making it. So
yeah, again, nothing confirmed. That's just something personal that I like to see. It doesn't even have to be like Heavenly Sword specifically. It could be a new IP, whatever the case is. But I like what I'm seeing from them so far. So let's move on. Obsidian Games, they have released the Outer Worlds, which has gotten great reviews. It's recently been ported to the Switch, and it's up there in the sales chart. Probably the single game that killed Fallout 76, in addition to Fallout killing itself. And then they also have Grounded. So for those of you that aren't aware what Grounded is, it is kind of like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type of game. And it's a survival. You know, you got to hunt around like a backyard or something, and you pick up things and craft things. So it seems interesting, seems a little bit indie, especially with the art style. But for me personally, I'm a little excited for this game. And then last, they are working on a brand new IP, unannounced. We don't know what it is yet. Anything to add, guys, before we move on?
I'm hoping they'll make another South Park game. The first two were pretty good.
Isn't South Park being done by a different team now?
Is it?
I think so.
The Stick of Truth was made by them.
Yeah, but after that, what came out was South Park Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
And who was that made by?
Oh, it might have been switched to a different team.
Let's see. That one is made by Ubisoft.
Ah.
That's interesting. So it's very possible that, you know, after Microsoft bought them, they no longer had the IP or the rights to the franchise. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But the most recent, the most recent South Park was somebody else. Okay. Well, here's hoping, right? You never know.
Yeah. Also explains why their last game was pretty good.
Outer Worlds?
Yeah. Because they actually had experience working on the Fallout series before, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They worked on New Vegas, which is arguably Fallout's best game.
I did. Did I play that? I want to say yes. Unless no, I'm confusing it with Rainbow Six New Vegas. Never mind.
Oh no, it was but yeah. So I'm pretty stoked to see what else they have in the Outer Worlds series.
Well, not just Outer World, they have a new IP in the works, so I'm more interested in that. I'm currently playing Outer Worlds now, and it's just, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of these looter type of games where you have to check every cranny, nook and cranny and stuff for your weapons. But I gotta say, it is a pretty good game. What you do affects your outcome, and so far I've killed everybody that I meet. So I'm not even sure where the story is going to take me.
Take no prisoners.
I was just curious, and then once you do it, you can't really go back, right? And then this one lady in particular, she was in an area, like a small little room. She had a desk, and she's sitting down, but there was like a cabinet full of stuff that I could loot, and if I looted in front of them, then it's a shootout. You know, so I tried to do it without them noticing. Of course, they noticed. I had to kill them all. You know, so not really sure where the story is going from there. They impounded my spaceship, so we'll figure that out. All right, let's move on. Playground Games. So Playground Games are the people responsible for Forza Horizon series. Forza Horizon 4, their most recent one, back in 2018. It got a 2019 update, in addition to like a Hot Wheels update, which was amazing in my opinion. I was a kid growing up playing with Hot Wheels, so playing with them in a Forza game, that I could not be happier.
Yeah, Horizon. I played Horizon 2. I have Horizon 4 downloaded, and it's definitely one of my favorite racing games, like ever. So
okay.
So definitely excited to see some new. I mean, I feel like it's like a given that they're gonna come out with a new Forza Horizon game on the next console.
For sure.
Of course.
But I don't want to confuse Playground Games, who do Forza Horizon, with Turn 10. The Turn 10, they also do Forza, but they do the Motorsport series. So, Lou, you want to tell us the difference between the two?
Yeah, I mean, so like the Forza Horizon games are like more arcadey. The Turn 10's Forza Motorsport are more of like the racing sim kind of games.
Okay, so it's more realistic.
Yeah.
And then Horizon is more playful.
Yeah.
Okay. So also rumored by Playground Games, they are set to be working on a Fable reboot.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I feel like the Fable games have, like, people have been waiting on a new Fable game for a pretty long time. I think the last one came out for the 360, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
Fable 3.
Yes,
yeah,
360.
For the 360.
And it is a pretty popular franchise too. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
We can talk another day about all the mishaps that happen with Xbox and this gen. But not producing more games is definitely a big one. So having according to the rumors, it could be a Fable 4, a continuation, but I would prefer a reboot in general. Kind of like, just bring in the previous audience and then also a new audience to the franchise. Especially if it's coming out on Game Pass, I'm definitely going to try it. And again, this is all rumors. We don't know.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's the case.
Yes. Okay. So from Playground Games, we have we're probably going to get a new Horizon 5 maybe. Turn 10 is probably going to give us Motorsport 8, possibly at launch. That's another. It could be another launch title.
It could show up at that first party showcase next month.
Oh, in July, yeah, it very well could.
I fully expect one of the two to show up. Actually, Horizon 4 was the last Forza to come out, right?
Right. That's why Motorsport should be the next one.
Yeah. So I do expect Motorsport 8 to show up.
Right, and then well, just to harp back on the rumored Fable reboot. Playground Games now they kind of turned their Horizon series into an open world game. Before it was more linear, now it's open world. So they're hoping to use that new open world experience and use that in an open world Fable, which would be amazing. So, okay, let's move on. We have Undead Labs, also recently purchased by Microsoft. I don't think it mattered if they purchased them or not because they were creating exclusives regardless. So their most recent game was State of Decay 2. This is one of those games that at launch was pretty bad with bugs and all that, but most recently just came out with a update called the Juggernaut Edition, which includes all the DLC, improved gameplay, and even improved graphics.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. It's one of those games that I've always been dying to try out.
Of course,
you will next time.
Zombie game.
Yeah, I don't know why though.
Nobody knows why, right?
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a sequel to this one. Maybe not anytime soon, but for sure next gen. And then there's also a rumor that Undead Labs could possibly be working on a new IP in addition. We don't know about that part yet. That's unconfirmed. So let's move on. And George, I'm going to depend on you when we do this list again next year, or whenever the Series X comes out and you play State of Decay Juggernaut Edition. Then we'll talk. All right, so this next one is one that I myself am very excited for. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator. By no means is it new. It's been out since I think it's actually been out before Windows, believe it or not.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I think there was a DOS version of this back when it was just DOS. Well, either way, Microsoft Flight Simulator hasn't been updated in almost a decade, and for the first time, we're gonna get a brand new update, 4K. They're using a real world map that's created and generated by real world satellites. So they're taking images, and they're able to, with some sort of algorithm and compression and whatever else they're going to do, they're able to take the satellite images and create three-dimensional height and width and all this other stuff with the buildings. So it's actually really real. The mountains are to scale and all that when you're flying over. And again, because it's a real world images, real world environment, you can literally fly anywhere in the world, and you have access to every airport that is available in the world. I think the number was like 400 something, or maybe 700. I forgot the exact number, but you can literally take off and land at any of these airports in the game. But it's like real life airports.
That's
So,
pretty epic.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
It is. They said that the map alone takes up 2 terabytes.
Wow.
Not that we need to install 2 terabytes. That's not what that means. It's gonna have the map offloaded somewhere, and then you're just gonna load the parts that you need as you play. So I'm super excited for this. It's made by Asobo Studios. So this one is published by Xbox Game Studios. I highlighted these because Xbox Game Studios, this is a studio that Xbox also created. Their sole purpose is to go out, talk to other studios and stuff like that, and get their games over on the Xbox platform. So these are the people that went out to Japan, and they brought over like the Yakuza series. They brought over Kingdom Hearts. They brought over all the Final Fantasies. So these are the guys that are responsible for all that, and it doesn't stop there. They're still working at it. They're continuing. They're very dedicated to the point where they're willing to leave a developer, an American developer in Japan at that particular studio, just to help facilitate the game and bring it over, whatever the case is. There are also rumors that they're working on an exclusive JRPG, stuff like that. So that's their sole purpose, is to bring games over. And I think so far they've been doing a great job. Even No Man's Sky, which was a PlayStation exclusive, is now on the Xbox.
Wow. They're doing pretty good work.
They are. I would say so.
Yeah.
So, and then Flight Sim is one of those too. Flight Simulator is exclusive to the PC, no longer, now coming to the Xbox platform. And again, I cannot wait for this game. I expect to see it in July. But I hope it's a Series X exclusive and not... it's probably going to be both with smart delivery. But either way, I expect to see this in July, and I'm expecting big things. All right, sorry I didn't let you guys comment too much on that. I'm very passionate about that game.
Hey, no worries, man.
You guys have no idea. The first thing I'm going to do is hop in a Cessna, and I'm just going to fly over my house. That's it. I just want to see if my car is there, if my house is there, and all that. Maybe I'll fly to Dominican Republic. So that's going to be fun. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about Moon Studios. They are responsible for Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Both really good games.
Both excellent games, I gotta say. Very excellent. I thank you, Lou, for introducing them to me. Those are games that they look a little cartoonish. speaking of the cartoon art style, that is hand drawn. Everything in the game is hand drawn. Possibly why it takes so long, but to develop the next game. But amazing art style, amazing gameplay. It is my favorite. I don't even know, like left and right platformer. Is that what they're called?
I think it's just platformer.
Okay, this is my favorite. Well, put it like this: you put Mega Man and Ori in front of me, and I'll take Ori anytime.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I think it's also kind of like it has.
It was like Metrovania kind of.
Metroidvania, yeah. Because you like unlock abilities and stuff along the way, like for playing the game, and like those abilities give you access to different parts of the map that you didn't have before.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny that you mentioned that. To me, that is what makes it kind of like an open world, sort of. I mean, it's still left and right, but you know, it's open. You can go anywhere, and like you just said, you go to a certain place, you don't have that ability. Well, you got to kind of come back.
Yeah.
You know, and then explore some other area, and then I got this ability. Now this looks familiar. Let me head back, and then you run into something else, and you know, sometimes it's frustrating, but it's amazingly frustrating.
Yeah, it kind of gives you that same sense of exploration that you get from an open world game. So I can see how you'd compare the two.
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought. I never played any of the Metrovania games, but Mega Man, you kind of are brought back to the main screen, and you got to pick a level, and then that's it. There's no like going back or anything like that. But so Ori, amazing game. I can't wait for the next sequel. And then, you know, we joke around, but I think that the changes they made from Ori 1 to 2 is specifically so that Ori can be in Smash Bros.
I mean, I would not be opposed to that.
I would not either.
But
yes,
yeah, that'd be pretty interesting.
That would be probably my main character.
You have to fight me for him.
As long as we don't get any more characters from you know what franchise.
What franchise?
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, you know, their next fighters pack is gonna have 4 out of the 5 are gonna be from that game with the island, whatever it's called.
Oh, I'm forgetting the name of it.
I'm drawing a blank too.
Yeah, I know it's something Horizon, but can't remember what the first. Yeah, Horizons. Animal Crossing.
Well, where'd you get Horizons from? Animal Crossing?
No, it's part of the title.
Animal Crossing Horizons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, Animal Crossing.
Sure New Horizons. There you go.
New Horizons. Okay. Animal Crossing. Yeah, no, they seem to include people from their most popular games at the moment. So 4 out of the 5 are, and the 5th is going to be Ori. You know, and then the other 4 are Animal Crossing.
Let's hope.
Let's hope for Ori. Let's not hope for Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the next few, let's try and move through this a bit quickly. We have Dontnod Entertainment. They're coming out with a game called Tell Me Why. Yeah. We don't know much other than the quick teaser. 2 twins. They go back to what looks like their childhood house. Not really sure what's going on there.
Yeah, it might be easy to go through these a little quickly since we know so little about the games.
Right.
For Tell Me Why, I actually get I'm forgetting the name of this game. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the game that I'm thinking of. But it gives me similar vibes to this other game that I played, and it's kind of like this narrative-driven experience. So I don't know, but we'll see when they come out with more gameplay for it.
Yeah, for sure. Humble Bundle came out with or announced Scorn. George, this is right up your house.
Yeah. But yeah, Scorn, from what I saw, kind of looks like if Aliens mixed with like I want to say Doom, maybe.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm probably gonna skip it. I'm not sure. I need to see more than just the reveal trailer. But right now it looks creepy as hell. I don't think it's for me.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
Creepy is
Not for
awesome.
me either.
Lou loves those type of games.
Yeah, no. It's a big old note for me.
Well, look, if it's on Game Pass and I just happen to not be playing anything at the moment, maybe. But I don't know.
No, I'll find something to play.
I don't blame you. So the medium is probably just as creepy. So George, right up your alley again.
When I was looking up the game, it shows that the composers from the Silent Hill series will also be helping make this game. So that sounds pretty interesting.
Sounds pretty scary.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, hell, I think more people like the Silent Hill series than like the Resident Evil series.
Nah, get out of here.
Yeah, man.
Really? I never played Silent Hill, but Resident Evil, I'm hooked. It's another game I'm waiting on your profile for. Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that the only reason why Silent Hill isn't more prominent is because Konami owns them, so you already know what that entails.
Let's table that topic for another day. I'm gonna write that down before I forget. Okay. So next is Phantasy Star Online 2. And this is another one that the Xbox Game Studios brought over from Sega. So this was a PC game exclusive to PC, only in Japan, I believe. And now it's here on console.
Yeah, it's kind of like an RPG. I guess the closest comparison would be to like Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, like an MMORPG?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen people playing it already. But I don't know. Yeah, it's good that it's over now on console, so that's a good thing.
Because I mean, the last one was on the Dreamcast. That was a long time ago. And even then, back then the internet wasn't all that great, so I'm really looking forward to it now.
Well, it's out. There's nothing to look forward to. It's out.
Well, yeah, but I technically can't play it.
All right, so you're gonna play it in November, I guess.
Probably, maybe. We'll see.
Okay, fair enough. So let's keep going.
Looks like the next studio is Studio MDHR.
Yes. So these are the people that brought us Cuphead. Now, Cuphead has been receiving great scores. It's like a classic cartoon style, yet it's so simplistic enough that it plays 4K 30 on the Xbox.
Yeah, the game looks amazing.
It does. It's a cartoonish style.
Yeah.
But it's very like on point,
Yeah, it looks like you're playing an old cartoon.
Right, and that's of course on purpose.
Yeah.
So this is another one of those games as a service. It's been updated quite a few times, not necessarily because it came out bad. It was definitely received good. Because it's a games as a service type of game, whenever they release new content for it, it just comes in an update. So that's what's going on with the game, and it's actually been ported over to the Switch, which I think is a perfect game for the Switch. That cartoon art style would be very popular with the younger crowd.
Maybe I've heard the game is like really difficult though.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
You might get a couple broken switches.
Yeah, possibly. It is very difficult from what I hear. I personally haven't played it. And it's also no longer on Game Pass. So they took it off for now. But whenever it does come back, I will give it a shot. And again, I hear it is super hard, but it's super good too. All right, this one is developed by both Curve Digital and Neon Giant. They made the Ascent. So this one, again, we don't know much about this one. Recently announced, but it looks like a top-down shooter. You just kind of hold the shoot button and point in the direction. Would you call it, Luz, like a twin stick?
Yeah, twin stick shooter.
Right. So that's what this is. It looks pretty good. Looks interesting enough that I might give it a shot.
I haven't seen the trailer or gameplay for this. So I have to.
Yeah, me neither.
The trailer kind of has a little bit of gameplay. So if you check it out, you'll kind of see both. Okay, so we have Call of Sea. This one came out recently. Was announced in the PlayStation. It was announced recently on the Xbox show that they had in May. This is by Raw Fury and Out of the Blue. We don't know much about it. The art style is very reminiscent of Sea of Thieves. And it is set in an island, so that's kind of the vibe I get from this game. I'm not saying it's pirates, but that type of thing. Island water, cartoonish.
Okay.
Again, we have no idea what this is about.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. There's not much to go off of yet.
Yeah, no, there really isn't. But the visuals look good. I wasn't complaining about that. Okay, let's move on.
True.
Systemic Reaction, and partner with Avalanche Studios, came out with Second Extinction. So this game, I believe, is actually out on Steam, but it's coming exclusively to the Xbox. First time on console, sometime in the near future. All right, and we have Remedy Entertainment. They are partnered with Smilegate to bring Crossfire X over to the Xbox console platform. It's the first time it's been on console. I think this is the Crossfire series is a PC series, also over in Japan, and of course brought to us by the Xbox Game Studios publishing. So they partner with Remedy to bring this over to the US. First time on console, it's going to be Crossfire X.
Sounds familiar.
Kind of looks like if you were to take
PUBG.
No, what is it? CS:GO, and like improve the graphics, have it like look more like a modern shooter. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
Could be. Oh yeah, I could see like a Counter-Strike vibe. Yeah, but it looks good. I mean, any shooters, I always like to give a shot. No pun intended. And finally on this list, we have Bright Memory Infinite. We saw that, I think it was the first trailer actually in the May event that Xbox had. This one is made by Playism and FYQD Studios. So before I open it to you guys, let me just go first real quick. This one I could have sworn was like Titanfall 2 when I first saw it. It was amazing. And it kind of had that vibe. But of course, later on, the guys over at Respawn came out and said that they're not working on a Titanfall 2 at the moment, even though I think they should. So that kind of killed my enthusiasm for this game. But regardless, it still looks really good. Different, darker type of theme than we're used to in shooters. But I don't know. Does anyone else get that type of feeling with this game?
Yeah, it was. So it was interesting to see the trailer because it looks like they're playing with timelines a little bit for this, because you're kind of like in the trailer.
That's actually gameplay you're watching in the trailer.
Oh, okay. Well, so like they're fighting against like these enemies with like armor on, right? They have like sword and shield kind of stuff going, but you have like at one point you do have, I think it's like an axe or a sword or something that you're fighting with, but then you also have like you have a gun. So like I don't know what the premise of this game is, but it looks like there's some sort of Like, I don't know if it's time travel or like what's involved in this whole like setup, but that whole thing kind of made me interested. I kind of have like a weakness for time travel as a theme in games and movies in general. So
I don't blame you, man. I really don't. Yeah, I think I got you hooked on, what was that series with the time travel? Travelers, yes.
was it you that got me into Travelers?
Oh yeah, for sure. I got you hooked on that thing, and then you finished it before I did.
I think it was you that told me about it. Yeah. No, anything that has time travel in it, it's just like I am with time travel like George is with zombies and vampires.
I don't know, man. That's hearsay.
I don't know. You said you're gonna pick up Scorn and Medium day one.
Whoa. I don't know, man. That might be you. You brought it up like 3 times.
Well, all right. So let's call it here because we've been here for a while. Before we go, I meant to ask everybody what you're playing last week, and I completely forgot. So today I made sure to write it down. So what are you playing? Let's start with you, George.
Right now, since I'm waiting for The Last of Us 2, I'm playing Transformers. I
Really?
picked up the wackest game I could pick up. So it won't interfere with The Last of Us.
Yeah, I can't blame you. Like I'm waiting on The Last of Us 2 as well. And I've been trying to play games that I'm not going to get too into before that comes out, because I know that's going to get my full attention when it drops.
Yeah.
Although it kind of backfired, Transformers actually kind of ended up being decent.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an RPG, action RPG. So you already know what that means.
Wow.
It's still
I did download it. I did download it from your account, and I put it down.
Oh, damn.
Not even a lie. Okay, what other games have you been playing aside from, within the last week? Give us the last month.
We're still on me or on Lou?
No, you.
Oh,
We can't just be Transformers. Can't leave that on the podcast.
I've been playing Sniper Elite 4.
Okay.
And Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Oh, Until Dawn. Okay. So getting ready for the Medium and Scorn.
I mean, if it's anything like Until Dawn, hell yeah.
Okay.
Almost dropped my controller one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Just based on the music?
No, jump scare actually got me.
Ah, those jump scares, man. We'll talk about that another time. I'm gonna write it down too, because there's a few that come to mind. Okay.
I won't have to talk about that by yourselves.
Come on, Lou. You gonna tell me Mr. X didn't surprise you in Resident Evil 2?
Hey, exactly. For that one, we'll bring Jerry in the fold for that one. This guy texted me, Resident Evil 8. That was it. That's all he said. No hi, no nothing. Resident Evil 8, and then I haven't heard from him like in a week.
He's probably rewatching the trailer.
He must be. He loves all those games.
I can't blame him.
Yeah. Okay. So Lou, what about you? What are you playing?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't been getting into anything too heavy. Like I was actually playing Untitled Goose Game earlier today.
Okay.
It's kind of fun.
It got great reviews. I think it got like a 9 out of 10 from IGN, if not more.
Yeah,
I don't remember, but
it's surprisingly fun to be an annoying goose to other people in the game.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, I mentioned I finished Pokemon recently, Pokemon Shield.
Okay.
And
I think you just finished Uncharted, and you also finished Detroit.
Uncharted 4, Detroit Being Human, The Last of Us, the first one, the remastered version, getting ready for The Last of Us 2. And then I also started the first Hitman, this gen's Hitman.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been busy lately.
Yeah, Lou, you've been eating those games, man.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I've been playing. I just finished Detroit Become Human.
Nice. We
have
to talk about what your ending looked like and your decisions and stuff.
Yes, I'm curious about yours. So I will say that I was pissed off somewhere towards the end. I'm not going to say exactly what in case George plays it, but
I am definitely going to play it.
Yeah, no, you should. It's a good game. Again, it's the style I'm not the biggest fan of. Story was good enough to merit the score it got. I'll give it that. So it was a good game. Not the greatest, not the worst. The story helped it boost up a bit. So I just finished Detroit Become Human. I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K. I got back into that. As I mentioned, The Outer Worlds, and I'm playing Ace Combat 7. That game is hard. Jeez. And then I think that's it for now. We're set to hit Gears 5 shortly. We're also set to hit Streets of Rage. And then I also want to give Minecraft Dungeons a shot.
We also need to finish the Division up.
Right. That's another one that we're all playing collectively. We need to finish that. And then move on to Division 2. That was such a good game.
Yeah. I actually recently just purchased it, so I might have to play it before you guys and replay it again.
No, come on. If you do, then I'll play with you. I'll play with you before we finish Division 1. It was that good. I'd play it again. Okay. All right. So that brings us to the end of this podcast. This was the part 2. Again, as a reminder, part 1, we hit the Sony exclusive list. So if you haven't heard that video, check that out. And then, look forward to the next episodes of the podcast. We're not sure what we're going to talk about then. We'll see. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. For those of you that are not new, thanks for returning. Subscribe, share, like. It really helps us out, especially because we're a growing channel. All right. Take care, everybody.